Have you ever felt the silent sting of someone's disapproval? That subtle, lingering sense that no matter what you do, there are people out there who want to see you fail, who quietly root for your downfall. It's a harsh reality many of us face at some point in our lives. Whether it's the colleague at work who seems to undermine you at every turn, the so-called friend who dismisses your achievements, or even a stranger who simply resents your success, there are those who, for reasons often unknown, take pleasure in your struggles. But here's the truth. You have more power over this than you think. What if I told you that the most effective way to rise above those who wish you harm is not to fight back, argue, or prove yourself, but to live in a way that leaves them powerless? There's a strength in calmness, a confidence in silence, and an unmatched resilience in staying true to who you are. The ancient Stoics knew this well. They taught that we can't control how others see us, but we can control how we respond. Think about this for a moment. Every time someone throws a hurtful word your way or tries to make you feel small, they're trying to provoke a reaction. They want to see you flustered, angry, or defensive. Why? Because when you react, they win. Your anger or frustration feeds their negativity, and it gives them power over your emotions. But what happens when you don't react? What happens when you meet their malice with calmness, their insults with indifference? Suddenly, their power fades. They become frustrated because they can't shake you. It's easy to let negativity seep into our hearts. We're human after all, and it's natural to feel hurt when others attack us. But real strength comes from controlling your reactions, from choosing peace over conflict. Picture being in a storm but standing still, untouched, while the winds rage around you. That's the power you hold when you refuse to let others' hate affect your inner peace. It's not about pretending their words don't sting. It's about recognizing that their words don't define you. Now, this isn't to say that those who oppose us won't ever succeed in getting under our skin. There will be times when you feel frustrated, even angry. But the Stoics teach us that we can train ourselves to handle these moments with grace. By practicing self-discipline and resilience, we become less vulnerable to the attacks of others. We learn to respond, not from a place of anger, but from a place of strength. Think about someone you admire, someone who exudes confidence and calm in the face of adversity. Maybe it's a public figure, a mentor, or even a friend. What is it about them that commands respect? Chances are, it's not their ability to argue or to prove their enemies wrong. It's their quiet strength, their unwavering calm, and their refusal to be dragged into petty conflicts. They don't need to fight every battle because they know who they are. They live with integrity, and that alone is enough to disarm their critics. You too have this power within you. It's not about being perfect or never feeling affected by others' words. It's about recognizing that your worth isn't determined by anyone else's opinion. It's about knowing that those who seek to harm you are only empowered when you allow them to disturb your peace. The more you stay true to your values, the less control they have. When you're confident in who you are, the opinions of others lose their grip on you. In fact, the stronger and more grounded you become, the more frustrated those who wish to see you falter will be. Why? Because they'll realize they can't reach you. You've built a shield around yourself, an unbreakable armor of self-respect, calm, and integrity. One of the most powerful things you can do is to live well, despite the negativity around you. The best revenge, the greatest way to rise above, is not to react, but to thrive. Picture yourself moving forward with your goals, living a life of purpose, while those who harbor resentment watch from the sidelines. Their words will fade into the background, mere noise in the grander symphony of your life. This isn't about seeking revenge. It's about recognizing that the best way to hurt those who hate you is by not allowing their hate to touch you. Every time you achieve something, no matter how small, those who wish you ill will feel their grip on you loosen. Your success, however modest, is a blow to their intentions. But the true victory comes when you don't need to rub it in their faces. When you can rise without needing to prove yourself. When you can move through life with quiet confidence, knowing that your achievements speak louder than any words. It's easy to get caught up in wanting to defend ourselves, to argue back, to show those who oppose us that they're wrong. But here's the thing, the moment you engage in their negativity, you're playing their game. The real power lies in not needing to engage at all. Think of the frustration of someone trying to bring you down, only to see you remain unbothered, calm, and focused. It's the ultimate victory, because in that moment, they realize they have no control over you. Living with peace and purpose is the ultimate form of defiance. When you remain centered, calm, and undisturbed by those who seek to harm you, you show the world, and yourself, just how powerful you truly are. Your strength isn't in fighting back. It's in rising above, in knowing that the opinions of others can't sway you unless you let them. So, the next time you're faced with someone's ill will, remember this: their hatred only has power if you give it to them, and you have the choice in every moment to rise above, to live well, to succeed quietly, and to frustrate them not by engaging, but by showing them that nothing they do can touch your peace, your progress, or your purpose. In the end, those who hate you will find that their efforts to bring you down are futile, because while they waste their energy on negativity, you're busy building a life of fulfillment, purpose, and peace. And that, my friend, is the greatest victory of all. Stay tuned as we unravel more mysteries. Have you ever noticed how much your calmness bothers people who thrive on chaos? It's as if your peace disrupts their very purpose. Their attempts to provoke you, to shake your foundation, crumble when you remain steady. In many ways, your inner peace is not just a form of emotional self-care, but a quiet form of rebellion. It's a powerful shield that leaves those who wish you harm powerless and confused. When people can't disturb your peace, it throws them off balance. They expect a reaction. They want you to rise to their bait, to argue, to defend yourself, to get upset. But when you stay grounded, they're left grappling with their own frustration. Why does this happen? Because they rely on your emotional reaction to validate their efforts. By not giving them what they seek, you strip away their power. Let's take a deeper look at what happens when you remain calm, especially in situations where someone actively tries to provoke you. Imagine a scenario where someone is criticizing you, either behind your back or to your face. Their words are sharp, designed to cut you down. They might make personal attacks, trying to get under your skin. Most people would feel hurt and defensive. You might even feel a strong urge to defend yourself, to set the record straight. But here's where inner peace comes into play. Instead of reacting, you take a breath. You remind yourself of who you are, what you stand for, and that this person's words cannot truly harm you unless you let them. You stay silent or respond with grace. Your calmness, your refusal to engage in their negativity, sends a message. It says, "I am not controlled by your words. Your opinion doesn't define me." This calmness is more than just an act of self-control. It's an act of empowerment. When you remain calm, it shows that you are in control of yourself, not the situation. And that's the essence of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics taught that while we cannot control what others do, say, or think about us, we can always control our own reactions. This simple shift in perspective is incredibly powerful because it takes the focus away from external circumstances and places it squarely on what we can manage, our own minds, our own emotions. Consider the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who famously wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote captures the heart of Stoic calmness. It reminds us that true strength comes not from controlling the world around us, but from mastering our internal world. The more we cultivate this calm, the more we frustrate those who try to harm us. Why does this work? It's because people who wish us harm are often driven by insecurity. Their attempts to disrupt your peace stem from their own lack of inner stability. When they see you calm, when they see that their words or actions aren't affecting you, it forces them to confront their own weaknesses. In essence, your peace reflects back to them the chaos they carry within themselves. This idea is crucial because it shifts the way we perceive those who try to hurt us. Instead of seeing them as powerful figures who can control our emotions, we start to see them as people who are deeply unsettled within themselves. This doesn't excuse their behavior, but it does give us insight into why they act the way they do. And with this insight comes compassion, not a weak compassion that excuses their actions, but a strong compassion that allows us to remain calm in the face of their attacks. One of the most important things to understand about maintaining inner peace is that it's not about suppressing your emotions. It's not about pretending that you don't feel hurt or frustrated. Rather, it's about acknowledging those emotions, allowing yourself to feel them, and then choosing not to let them control your actions. It's about responding, not reacting. This is a subtle but important distinction. Reacting is impulsive. It's driven by emotion. Responding, on the other hand, is thoughtful and measured. When you respond with calmness, you're showing that you are in control of your emotions, not the other way around. And this is incredibly frustrating for those who wish to see you lose control. They want to see you flustered, to see you react impulsively because it gives them a sense of power over you. But when you respond with grace, with calmness, it leaves them with nothing to grab onto. This kind of calm takes practice. It doesn't come naturally, especially in the heat of the moment. But the more you practice mindfulness and self-awareness, the easier it becomes to maintain your peace, even in challenging situations. Mindfulness is a key tool here because it helps you become aware of your thoughts and emotions without being overwhelmed by them. It's like being the eye of the storm. Everything around you might be chaotic, but you remain centered. In those moments when someone is trying to provoke you, pause. Take a deep breath. Before you respond, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Most of the time you'll realize that it's not. You'll realize that engaging in the argument, defending yourself against their criticism, or retaliating will only drag you down to their level. By choosing not to engage, you protect your peace, and in doing so, you frustrate them. Let's explore why this frustrates people who wish you harm. When someone tries to provoke you, they are essentially trying to control the narrative. They want to cast you in a certain light, perhaps as angry, defensive, or weak. But when you stay calm, you deny them that narrative. You remain in control of your own story. This frustrates them because it shows that they have no power over you. This is particularly true in professional settings. Let's say a coworker tries to undermine you by spreading rumors or criticizing your work. They expect you to lash out or become defensive because that reaction would validate their efforts. But if you stay calm, if you continue doing your job with integrity and refuse to get dragged into their drama, it leaves them scrambling. They can't understand why their attempts to harm you aren't working. And the more frustrated they become, the more apparent it becomes to others that their negativity is a reflection of their own insecurities, not a reflection of you. In many ways, your calmness becomes a silent form of victory. It's a way of winning without having to fight. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is a powerful reminder that we always have a choice in how we respond to the challenges we face. And when we choose calmness, we are choosing to protect our peace and our power. The beauty of this approach is that it's sustainable. Engaging in arguments, Defending yourself against every slight and reacting to every criticism is exhausting. It drains your energy and leaves you feeling depleted. But when you cultivate inner peace, you conserve your energy. You save it for the things that matter, for your goals, your relationships, your happiness. And the more you focus on these things, the less power those who wish you harm will have over you. Another important aspect of maintaining inner peace is learning to let go of the need for approval. People who try to harm you often do so because they believe they can affect how others see you. They want to damage your reputation or make you doubt yourself. But when you let go of the need for external validation, when you stop caring about what others think of you, you take away their power. Your sense of self-worth becomes rooted in who you are, not in how others perceive you. This is where living with integrity comes into play. When you live in alignment with your values, when you act with honesty and kindness, you don't need to defend yourself against the opinions of others. Your actions speak for themselves, and while those who wish to harm you may try to paint you in a negative light, their efforts will ultimately fall flat because your character will shine through. I want you to someone spreading false rumors about you. They hope to damage your reputation and make you feel insecure. But if you know that you've acted with integrity, those rumors won't shake you. You'll be able to stand tall, knowing that the truth will eventually come to light. And in the meantime, you'll continue living with peace and purpose, unaffected by their negativity. This is perhaps one of the most frustrating things for those who wish you harm, when their attempts to bring you down don't succeed. It forces them to confront the reality that they cannot control you. They cannot manipulate how you feel about yourself or how others see you. And this realization can be incredibly disempowering for them. But this isn't just about frustrating those who wish you harm. It's about living in a way that protects your peace and allows you to thrive. When you stop letting other people's negativity control your emotions, you free yourself to focus on the things that truly matter. You become more productive, more focused, and more content. And in doing so, you naturally rise above the drama and chaos that others try to pull you into. Your inner peace is your most valuable asset. It's what allows you to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. And the more you cultivate this peace, the more you'll find that the actions of others have less and less impact on you. People who wish you harm may continue their efforts, but they will do so in vain. They'll realize that no matter what they say or do, they cannot disturb your calm. In many ways, this calmness is a gift you give yourself. It's a form of self-care that allows you to protect your energy, your time, and your mental well-being. And the more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. You'll find that over time, you become less reactive to the negativity of others and more focused on your own growth and happiness. But inner peace is not a passive state. It requires active engagement with yourself. It means being mindful of your thoughts and emotions, recognizing when you're being pulled into someone else's negativity, and choosing to step back. It means setting boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. It means reminding yourself, again and again, that your peace is worth protecting. And here's the most beautiful part. When you protect your peace, you inspire others to do the same. Your calmness becomes a beacon for those around you. People will notice that you don't get caught up in the drama, that you remain steady even in the face of challenges. And in seeing this, they may be inspired to cultivate their own peace. Your calmness has the power to create a ripple effect, spreading peace and positivity to those around you. In the end, your inner peace isn't just a defense against those who wish you harm. It's a way of living that allows you to thrive, regardless of the negativity around you. And as you continue to nurture this peace, you'll find that those who once sought to harm you will lose their grip on your life. They'll become powerless in the face of your calm, and you'll continue to rise, undisturbed and unstoppable. Your inner peace is a fortress, one that those who wish you harm cannot penetrate. The more you cultivate that peace, the more you frustrate those who thrive on chaos, those who want to see you falter. But what about when their attacks become more direct? What happens when their weapons are not just actions, but words meant to insult, provoke, and hurt? This is where the next crucial Stoic principle comes into play: indifference to insults. Insults are a curious thing. They're designed to sting, to shake your confidence, to pull you into a reaction. But here's the Stoic truth: an insult only has power over you if you grant it that power. It's like someone throwing a stone at you. If you catch it, you feel the impact, but if you simply let it fall to the ground, it does nothing. In this way, indifference becomes your greatest defense. When you don't react to insults, you strip them of their ability to harm you, and those who hurl them are left confused and frustrated, powerless in their attempt to control your emotions. I want you to picture this. Someone says something hurtful, maybe about your appearance, your work, or your character. Their words are meant to provoke a reaction, to get under your skin. The usual response might be to snap back, to defend yourself, to prove them wrong. But what if, instead, you met their insult with calm indifference? What if you didn't react at all? In that moment, you've already won because you've denied them the satisfaction they seek. Insults, when met with silence and composure, lose their bite. They fall flat, ineffective, and those who delivered them are left scrambling for the response they so desperately wanted. The art of not reacting to insults is more than just a tactic. It's a way of living that aligns with a deeper sense of self-awareness. Insults are often a reflection of the person delivering them, not the person receiving them. When someone insults you, they are usually projecting their own insecurities, frustrations, or fears onto you. They want to bring you down to their level because your calmness, your peace, reminds them of what they lack. By remaining indifferent, you refuse to engage in their negativity. You leave them standing in their own emotional storm while you remain centered. This doesn't mean insults won't hurt or sting initially. It's natural to feel that pang of discomfort when someone says something cruel or unfair. But the power lies in what you do next. You can choose to let the insult linger in your mind, feeding your doubts and insecurities, or you can recognize it for what it is, empty words, and let it go. The Stoics believed that we cannot control what others say or do, but we can always control how we respond. And the greatest response to an insult is often no response at all. Let's think about it practically. If you respond to an insult with anger, you've given the other person exactly what they wanted. You've shown them that their words have power over you, that they can control your emotions. Even if you try to defend yourself, to prove them wrong, you've still entered into their game. But if you remain indifferent, if you don't react, you show them that their words are meaningless to you. You deny them the control they crave, and in doing so, you maintain your power. This kind of indifference requires practice. It's not easy to remain calm when someone is attacking you, especially when the insults feel personal. But the more you train yourself to pause before reacting, the more control you gain over your emotions. In that pause, you remind yourself that the insult is just noise. It doesn't define you, it doesn't change who you are, and it certainly doesn't require your energy. The Stoics often emphasized this point. Our peace is too valuable to be disturbed by the fleeting opinions of others. Think about someone in your life who often insults or provokes you. Maybe it's a colleague who constantly criticizes your work, or a family member who never seems to have anything positive to say. How would your relationship with that person change if instead of reacting to their insults, you simply remained indifferent? Over time, they would likely grow frustrated by your lack of response. They may even stop trying to provoke you altogether, realizing that their efforts are in vain. Indifference in this way becomes a quiet but powerful victory. One of the reasons insults hurt is because we often internalize them. We take the words of others and allow them to shape how we see ourselves. But here's the truth. No one's opinion of you can change your worth unless you let it. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others." This speaks to the heart of why insults affect us. We care too much about what others think, even when their opinions are based on nothing but their own insecurities. I want you to imagine the freedom that comes with truly not caring about what others think of you. Imagine hearing an insult and feeling nothing, no anger, no hurt, just indifference. This is the power of Stoic calmness. It doesn't mean you don't hear the insult. It means you understand that it has no real impact on your life. The more you practice this, the less vulnerable you become to the words of others. You become untouchable, not because you've built a wall around yourself, but because you've learned to see insults for what they really are, empty attempts to provoke a reaction. There's another important aspect to indifference that often gets overlooked. When you refuse to react to insults, you also set an example for those around you. People will notice that you don't get caught up in drama, that you remain composed even in the face of criticism. This kind of calmness is contagious. It inspires others to rise above petty conflicts and focus on what truly matters. By practicing indifference to insults, you're not only protecting your own peace, but you're also contributing to a more peaceful environment for those around you. This doesn't mean you become passive or allow others to walk all over you. Indifference to insults doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. It means choosing your battles wisely. Not every insult is worth your time, and not every provocation requires a response. By practicing this form of indifference, you conserve your emotional energy for the things that truly matter: your goals, your relationships, your own well-being. You become less reactive and more intentional in how you engage with the world. In many ways, indifference to insults is an act of self-respect. It's a way of saying, "I know my worth, and no one else's words can diminish that." When you internalize this belief, insults lose their power over you. They become like distant echoes, faint and irrelevant to the life you're building. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself to others because you know that your value doesn't come from their approval. It comes from within. There's a common misconception that indifference means you don't care, but that's not the case at all. Indifference to insults is about caring deeply, about yourself, your peace, and your emotional well-being. It's about recognizing that your energy is too precious to waste on petty conflicts. It's about choosing to rise above the noise and focus on what truly matters. Over time, as you cultivate this indifference, you'll find that insults don't affect you the way they used to. You'll hear them, acknowledge them, and then let them go. You'll stop internalizing other people's negativity and start living more freely, more authentically. And in doing so, you'll frustrate those who try to bring you down. They'll see that their words have no impact on you, and they'll be left grappling with their own frustration. Your calmness, your refusal to react, becomes a quiet but powerful victory. As you continue this journey of Stoic practice, remember that indifference to insults is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending that hurtful words don't sting. It's about acknowledging that those words don't define you. It's about choosing not to engage in the negativity of others and protecting your peace above all else. The more you practice this, the stronger you become. And the stronger you become, the less power others will have over you. In the end, it's not the insults that matter, it's how you choose to respond. And when you choose indifference, you choose freedom. You choose to rise above the noise, to live your life on your own terms, and to remain unbothered by the opinions of those who seek to bring you down. This is the true art of Stoic calmness, the ultimate expression of inner strength. When you remain indifferent to insults, something fascinating happens. You deprive those who seek to harm you of the satisfaction they crave. But there's an even deeper level of disarmament that can leave your critics bewildered and powerless, living a life guided by virtue. Virtue, in its purest form, means living with integrity, honesty, courage, and compassion. When your every action is rooted in what is morally and ethically right, it doesn't just protect you from insults, it becomes a force that completely undermines the malice of others. Living with virtue is not about being perfect, it's about striving to do what is right, even in the face of adversity. When people aim to harm you, they often expect you to slip, to make a mistake, or to act out of character. They want to see you break your moral code, to react in ways that diminish your value. But when you remain steadfast in your ethical principles, when you live with a clear sense of right and wrong, you confound their efforts. Your virtue becomes an impenetrable shield, not just protecting you from harm, but rendering their attacks useless. Picture someone trying to discredit you at work, for example. They spread rumors, cast doubt on your abilities, or even try to manipulate situations to make you look bad. Their hope is that you will either retaliate in a way that justifies their slander, or that you will falter under the pressure. But when you live with virtue, when you remain true to your principles, you rise above their tactics. You continue to do your job with honesty, respect, and diligence. Over time, the truth of your character will become clear to everyone around you, and their attempts to damage your reputation will backfire. This is the quiet power of living ethically. It speaks louder than any words or rumors ever could. In fact, those who operate from a place of malice often struggle to understand the strength of someone who lives with virtue. In their world, success is achieved through manipulation, dishonesty, and cutting corners. They are used to people compromising their values to get ahead. So when they encounter someone who refuses to play by those rules, someone who chooses the harder path of integrity, it confuses them. They don't know how to handle a person who is guided by principles rather than ambition or self-interest. Living with virtue doesn't just protect you from malicious attacks, it transforms the way others perceive you. People may initially doubt your intentions or question your motives, but over time, your consistent commitment to ethical behavior will win them over. They will see that you are not easily swayed by circumstances or by the actions of others. You become someone who can be trusted, someone whose word and actions align, and that kind of authenticity is rare and deeply respected. Even those who seek to harm you will eventually have to admit, if only to themselves, that their efforts are futile in the face of your unwavering integrity. This is the beauty of virtue. It's not just a defense mechanism, it's a way of life that elevates you above petty conflicts and attacks. When you are grounded in virtue, you don't need to constantly defend yourself or prove your worth to others. Your actions speak for themselves, and this frustrates those who wish to see you fail. They thrive on seeing others crumble, but when you stand firm in your values, they are left powerless. They may try to provoke you, to bait you into reacting or compromising your principles, but when you remain true to yourself, their attempts fall flat. One of the most important aspects of living with virtue is the inner peace it brings. When your actions align with your beliefs, you don't carry the weight of guilt or regret. You know that, no matter what others say or do, you have acted with integrity. This inner peace becomes a source of strength that others can sense. It's hard for someone to shake you when you are so firmly rooted in your ethical foundation. They may try to destabilize you by questioning your motives or your character, but when you are confident in your own integrity, their words have no effect. Living with virtue also gives you the freedom to let go of the need for approval from others. People who operate from a place of malice often try to manipulate you by playing on your desire to be liked or respected. They assume that you will make compromises in order to win their favor or to avoid conflict. But when you live with virtue, your sense of self-worth comes from within, not from external validation. You do what is right because it is right, not because it will earn you praise or acceptance. This makes you unshakable in the face of criticism or rejection. The Stoics believed that virtue was the highest good, that everything else in life, whether it be wealth, success, or even happiness, was secondary to living a life of ethical integrity. For them, true happiness came from knowing that you had done what was right, regardless of the outcome. This kind of happiness cannot be taken from you, no matter how much malice others direct your way. When you live with virtue, you are in control of your own destiny. You may not be able to control what others say or do, but you can always control your own actions, and that is where true freedom lies. It's also worth noting that living with virtue doesn't mean being passive or allowing others to walk all over you. On the contrary, virtue often requires courage and strength. It means standing up for what is right, even when it's difficult. It means having the courage to speak out against injustice, even when others remain silent. It means refusing to compromise your principles, even when doing so would make your life easier. This kind of strength is deeply unsettling to those who operate from a place of malice, because it shows them that you are not afraid of them. You are not afraid to stand alone, if necessary, in defense of what is right. I want you to picture for a moment that you are in a situation where someone is pressuring you to act unethically, perhaps to cut corners, to lie, or to take advantage of someone else. It would be easy to give in, especially if everyone around you is doing the same. But when you live with virtue, you refuse to compromise. You stand your ground, even if it means facing criticism or losing out on an opportunity. In that moment, you are not just protecting your own integrity, you are showing others that it is possible to live ethically, even in a world that often values shortcuts and dishonesty. This kind of example can inspire others to do the same, even if they don't admit it openly. Over time, living with virtue creates a ripple effect. The people around you begin to notice that you are different, that you operate on a higher level of integrity. They may not always like it, especially if they are used to manipulating or deceiving others to get what they want, but they will respect it. Even those who initially sought to harm you may find themselves unable to continue their attacks, not because you fought back, but because your consistent ethical behavior makes it clear that you cannot be swayed by malice. They will see that you are not playing the same game as they are, and they will realize that their tactics simply don't work on someone who lives with virtue. One of the most powerful aspects of living ethically is the way it disarms those who thrive on conflict. People who operate from a place of malice often expect others to react emotionally or irrationally. They are used to manipulating situations to create tension, to divide people, or to cause chaos. But when you respond to their provocations with calmness, integrity, and thoughtfulness, you take away their ability to control the situation. You refuse to be drawn into their drama. Instead, you maintain your composure and continue to act according to your principles. This kind of response is deeply frustrating for them because it shows that you are in control of yourself and, by extension, the situation. Another key element of living with virtue is understanding the importance of forgiveness and compassion. People who wish to harm you often operate from a place of anger, jealousy, or insecurity. They may lash out because they feel threatened by your success or your happiness. While it's tempting to respond to their negativity with more negativity, living with virtue means choosing a different path. It means recognizing that their malice comes from their own inner turmoil, not from anything you've done. This doesn't mean excusing their behavior, but it does mean approaching the situation with compassion. By choosing to forgive rather than retaliate, you rise above their pettiness. You show them that you are not controlled by anger or resentment, and this too frustrates them. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful acts of virtue because it allows you to free yourself from the emotional burden of holding on to grudges. When someone wrongs you, it's natural to feel hurt or angry, but holding on to those emotions only gives the other person power over you. By choosing to forgive, you take that power back. You refuse to let their actions dictate how you feel or how you live your life. And in doing so, you frustrate those who hope to keep you trapped in a cycle of negativity. Your ability to forgive becomes a source of strength that they cannot touch. Living with virtue also means being honest, even when it's difficult. People who operate from a place of malice often rely on deception to get what they want. They manipulate the truth, twist facts, and spread lies to create confusion or to undermine others. But when you are committed to living honestly, you become immune to their tactics. They may try to deceive you or to pull you into their web of lies, but your commitment to truth keeps you grounded. You see through their manipulation and you refuse to play their game. Over time, their lies will unravel and your honesty will shine through. This is one of the most frustrating things for those who operate from a place of malice. Honesty is like a light that exposes their darkness. Honesty doesn't just protect you from deception, it also builds trust with those around you. When people see that you are consistently truthful, that you don't compromise your integrity to get ahead or to avoid conflict, they will begin to trust you more deeply. This trust is something that cannot be easily shaken, even by those who try to undermine you. Your reputation for honesty becomes a kind of armor that shields you from attacks, and those who wish to harm you will find that their efforts to discredit you fall flat because people trust in your character. In the end, living with virtue is not just about protecting yourself from harm, it's about building a life that is truly meaningful. It's about making decisions that align with your deepest values, regardless of what others think or how they try to influence you. It's about creating a legacy of integrity, one that will outlast any attack or criticism. And as you continue to live this way, you will find that the malice of others has less and less impact on you. You will rise above their negativity, not through force or retaliation, but through the quiet power of ethical conduct. In a world that often values shortcuts and selfishness, living with virtue is a radical act. It shows that you are not controlled by the opinions of others or by the circumstances around you. You are guided by a deeper sense of purpose, one that cannot be easily shaken. And in living this way, you will not only frustrate those who wish to harm you, but you will also inspire others to live with more integrity themselves. This is the true power of virtue. It transforms not just your own life, but the lives of those around you. And no amount of malice can ever take that away. As you live with virtue, embodying integrity and ethical conduct, something extraordinary happens. You begin to gain momentum. Your actions, rooted in what's right, gradually turn into tangible success. And nothing is more frustrating to those who wish you harm than watching you achieve your goals while they stand powerless to stop it. This is where self-discipline becomes your greatest ally. Success built on self-discipline is a force that disarms even the harshest critics because they can't argue with the results you create through hard work, consistency, and focus. The more you achieve through disciplined effort, the more you strip away their power to criticize you. Your success becomes undeniable, and their negativity fades into irrelevance. Success doesn't come easily, and those who wish to see you fail know this. They expect you to falter, to give up when things get tough. They rely on the assumption that you won't have the perseverance to see your goals through. But what they don't realize is that self-discipline is the foundation of true success. While others are distracted by fleeting desires or caught up in the need for immediate gratification, you are quietly working, staying focused on your long-term goals. Every day, through small, deliberate actions, you are moving closer to what you want to achieve. And while your critics might mock or doubt you in the beginning, over time, your steady progress begins to speak louder than their words. Think about what happens when you set a goal and work tirelessly toward it. In the beginning, it may seem like no one is paying attention, or worse, they might be actively rooting for you to fail. But as you continue to chip away at your goal, day by day, something shifts. People start to notice. They see that while others have fallen by the wayside, you are still standing, still moving forward. And even those who wished you harm are forced to confront the fact that their efforts to distract or derail you have failed. Your self-discipline has become your shield, and your success is the proof that they cannot deny. Self-discipline is often misunderstood. It's not about being harsh with yourself or denying yourself joy. It's about understanding the importance of focus, consistency, and long-term thinking. It's about making sacrifices now so that you can reap the rewards later. When you cultivate self-discipline, you build the ability to delay gratification, to push through discomfort, and to stay committed even when things aren't going perfectly. This kind of resilience is deeply unsettling to those who operate from a place of malice because they are used to people giving up or taking shortcuts. When they see you pushing forward, even when the path is difficult, it throws them off balance. They don't know how to handle someone who doesn't give up at the first sign of hardship. I want you to picture someone who has been criticizing you from the sidelines, doubting your abilities and dismissing your efforts. In their mind, they've already decided that you won't succeed. They expect you to quit or to make excuses when things don't go as planned. But instead of faltering, you stay the course. You continue to work quietly, undeterred by their negativity. And as time passes, your success starts to become visible. Maybe you land that promotion, reach a personal milestone, or achieve a long-term goal. Suddenly, their criticism seems hollow. They may continue to doubt you, but your success speaks louder than any words they can say. Self-discipline has brought you to a place where their negativity no longer has any impact. Success built on self-discipline is not just about achieving external goals. It's about mastering yourself. When you develop self-discipline, you gain control over your impulses, your emotions, and your time. You stop being reactive to the ups and downs of life and start making decisions based on what truly matters to you. This kind of internal mastery is incredibly powerful because it allows you to stay focused on your goals, regardless of what's happening around you. Even when people try to distract you or throw obstacles in your path, your self-discipline keeps you on track. It's like having a compass that always points you in the right direction, no matter how chaotic the world becomes. Critics often rely on the idea that you will lose focus. They expect you to be swayed by setbacks, to get discouraged when things don't go as planned. But self-discipline gives you the ability to stay steady, to keep moving forward even when the road gets tough. When others are overwhelmed by the challenges in front of them, you are able to push through because you've trained yourself to see the bigger picture. You know that success isn't about immediate results. It's about consistent effort over time. And this consistency is what disarms your critics. While they are caught up in short-term thinking, you are playing the long game. And when your success eventually comes, it will be undeniable. Self-discipline is also about making choices that align with your values and long-term goals. It means saying no to distractions, temptations, and shortcuts that might give you immediate satisfaction but derail your progress in the long run. This kind of focus frustrates those who wish you harm because they often try to pull you off course by tempting you with easy wins or by creating distractions that could lead you astray. But when you have self-discipline, you are able to recognize these traps for what they are. You stay committed to your path, knowing that true success requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to make sacrifices. Another important aspect of self-discipline is the ability to manage your time effectively. Time is one of the most valuable resources we have, and those who achieve great things understand the importance of using it wisely. Critics often hope that you will waste your time, that you'll get caught up in trivial matters, or spend too much time on things that don't really matter. But when you are disciplined, you prioritize your time in a way that aligns with your goals. You don't let yourself get distracted by the noise around you. You focus on what's important, and you make steady progress toward your objectives. This focus, combined with the consistent use of time, leads to success that cannot be denied, no matter how much others may try to undermine it. I want you to picture someone trying to sabotage your efforts by creating distractions or unnecessary drama. Their goal is to pull your attention away from what matters, hoping that you'll get bogged down in things that don't contribute to your success. But with self-discipline, you are able to see through their tactics. You recognize that these distractions are just attempts to derail you, and you refuse to engage. You stay focused on your work, on your goals, and on the things that truly matter to you. Over time, your ability to ignore distractions and stay on course becomes a powerful tool for achieving success. And those who tried to undermine you will be left frustrated by your unwavering focus. Success through self-discipline is not just about personal achievement, it's about resilience. It's about having the mental and emotional strength to keep going when others would give up. Critics often underestimate your ability to persevere, thinking that their negativity or attempts to throw obstacles in your path will eventually wear you down. But self-discipline gives you the stamina to keep moving forward, even when things are difficult. You learn to embrace challenges as opportunities to grow, rather than as reasons to quit. And this kind of resilience is what ultimately disarms your critics. They realize that no matter what they do, you won't be stopped. One of the most powerful aspects of self-discipline is that it allows you to separate yourself from the need for external validation. Critics often rely on the idea that you care deeply about their opinions or that you need their approval to feel successful. But self-discipline teaches you to focus on your own internal standards of success. You set your own goals, and you measure your progress based on your own values and desires. This independence from external validation is incredibly liberating because it means that your success is defined by you, not by the opinions of others. And when your critics realize that their approval or disapproval has no impact on you, they lose one of their primary tools for undermining you. Self-discipline also helps you develop a sense of inner confidence. When you consistently make progress toward your goals, you build trust in yourself and your abilities. This self-trust is unshakable because it's based on real accomplishments that you've achieved through your own hard work and effort. Critics may try to make you doubt yourself, but when you have self-discipline, you know that your success is not the result of luck or chance. It's the result of your own dedication and perseverance. This kind of confidence is deeply frustrating to those who wish to see you fail, because it shows them that you are in control of your own destiny. It's important to remember that success through self-discipline doesn't happen overnight. It's a process that requires patience, consistency, and a willingness to face challenges head-on. Critics may mock you in the early stages of your journey, pointing out every small setback or failure as evidence that you won't succeed. But when you are disciplined, you understand that setbacks are a natural part of the process. You don't let them discourage you. Instead, you use them as learning opportunities, as chances to grow and improve. And as you continue to make progress, your critics' negativity will become less and less relevant. Your success will speak for itself, and their attempts to bring you down will seem increasingly desperate. As you achieve your goals through self-discipline, something remarkable happens. You begin to inspire others. People who may have once doubted you or who were indifferent to your efforts start to take notice. They see the results of your hard work, and they are impressed by your ability to stay focused and determined in the face of adversity. Even those who once criticized you may begin to change their tune, realizing that your success is not a fluke, but the result of consistent effort over time. This transformation in the way others perceive you is one of the most rewarding aspects of success through self-discipline. It shows that you have not only achieved your goals, but you have also earned the respect of those around you. Ultimately, success through self-discipline is about more than just achieving specific goals. It's about becoming the kind of person who can consistently create success in any area of life. When you cultivate self-discipline, you develop habits and mindsets that allow you to excel in everything you do. Whether it's your career, your relationships, your personal development, or your health, self-discipline gives you the tools to achieve long-term success in all areas of your life. And as you continue to grow and succeed, your critics will find that their negativity has no impact on you. Your success, built on a foundation of discipline and hard work, will stand as a testament to your resilience, focus, and strength. In the end, self-discipline is the key to achieving success in a way that disarms your critics and empowers you to live the life you truly want. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you have the power to create the success you desire, no matter what obstacles or negativity come your way. And as you continue on this path, you will find that the more disciplined you become, the more success you achieve, and the less relevant your critics become. Your actions, your achievements, and your unwavering commitment to your goals will speak louder than any criticism ever could. As you achieve success through self-discipline, it becomes evident that your consistency and focus have disarmed your critics. But there's another element that can leave them utterly powerless: your ability to rise stronger from adversity. Success isn't just measured by reaching your goals, but also by how you handle the setbacks along the way. Adversity is inevitable, and it's something your enemies may hope will break you. They wait for you to stumble, expecting the difficulties to overwhelm you. What they don't anticipate is your resilience, your ability to not only survive adversity, but to thrive because of it. There's a certain power in facing adversity head-on. The more challenges you overcome, the less power your enemies have over you. People who wish you harm often assume that hardship will make you weaker, more vulnerable, and easier to break. But when you develop Stoic resilience, you prove them wrong at every turn. Instead of crumbling, you grow stronger. Instead of being defined by your struggles, you rise above them with grace and determination. And nothing frustrates those who seek your downfall more than seeing you become unshakable in the face of adversity. Resilience isn't just about enduring difficult times. It's about transforming those challenges into fuel for growth. When you face adversity with a Stoic mindset, you learn to detach yourself from the emotional turmoil that often accompanies setbacks. You begin to see obstacles not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to develop inner strength. This shift in perspective disarms your enemies because it shows them that you are not easily defeated. They may try to create difficulties in your path, but instead of being discouraged, you use those challenges to build resilience, making you even harder to bring down. Think of a time when everything seemed to be going against you, whether it was a personal loss, a professional setback, or a challenge that felt insurmountable. Those who wish you harm likely hoped that this adversity would be the end of your journey, that it would sap your motivation and leave you feeling defeated. But instead, you made a choice to rise above. You used that adversity as a moment to test your resilience, to grow from the pain and learn from the struggle. This resilience became your strength, and your enemies were left watching as you not only survived, but emerged stronger than ever. The Stoics believed that adversity is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. It is through challenges that we find out who we truly are. When life throws difficulties our way, we have the opportunity to develop patience, perseverance, and wisdom. These qualities don't just help us overcome the immediate challenges. They stay with us, becoming part of who we are. And the more resilient we become, the less power our enemies have to affect us. They realize that no matter what they throw our way, we will continue to rise, more determined than before. Resilience is also about adaptability. Adversity often brings unexpected changes, and those who wish to see you fail hope that you will be overwhelmed by the uncertainty. But when you approach life with a Stoic mindset, you understand that change is inevitable and that it's not the events themselves that matter, but how you respond to them. Stoic resilience means being flexible, adjusting your course when necessary, and remaining focused on your ultimate goal. This ability to adapt, to keep moving forward despite obstacles, weakens the power of your enemies because they cannot control or predict your reactions. You remain grounded, no matter how chaotic the external world becomes. In every challenge, there is a choice. You can either let it break you, or you can use it to build yourself up. Your enemies hope that adversity will break you, that it will leave you feeling defeated and vulnerable. But when you choose to rise above the challenge, when you use it as an opportunity to strengthen your character, you rob them of their power. They see that nothing they do can truly defeat you, because your resilience is not dependent on external circumstances. It comes from within. This inner strength makes you untouchable, no matter how difficult the road ahead may seem. Resilience is often born out of hardship. Those who have faced the greatest challenges often emerge with the deepest inner strength. People who wish to harm you may try to exploit your weaknesses, hoping that the weight of adversity will cause you to crack. But what they fail to understand is that adversity, when approached with the right mindset, can actually reveal your greatest strengths. The more you face and overcome, the more confident you become in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. And with each victory over adversity, your enemies lose more and more of their power to affect you. There is a quiet confidence that comes with resilience, a knowing that you have survived hardship before and that you will survive it again. This confidence is something that cannot be easily shaken, no matter how much negativity or adversity comes your way. People who wish to see you fail thrive on the idea that you are fragile, that one setback will be enough to stop you. But when you demonstrate resilience, when you show them that you can rise from the ashes of difficulty, it leaves them frustrated and powerless. They may continue to throw obstacles in your path, but they will come to realize that their efforts are futile against someone who refuses to be broken. Resilience is not about pretending that adversity doesn't hurt or that challenges aren't difficult. It's about acknowledging the pain, the frustration, and the difficulty, but choosing to move forward anyway. It's about not letting adversity define you, but rather using it as a stepping stone toward growth and success. When you develop this kind of resilience, your enemies lose their ability to undermine you. They may try to exploit your struggles, but your ability to rise above those struggles renders their efforts ineffective. Picture a situation where someone has been watching and waiting for you to fail. They've seen you face setbacks, and they've assumed that these difficulties will be enough to stop you. But as time passes, they see something else. They see you continue to push forward, continue to grow, despite the adversity in your path. This frustrates them because they cannot understand how you are able to endure so much and still come out stronger. Your resilience is a constant reminder that they do not control your destiny, that no matter what they do, you will continue to rise. Resilience also gives you the ability to maintain perspective. When you are in the midst of adversity, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed, to believe that the struggle will never end. But Stoic resilience teaches you to step back, to see the bigger picture. You understand that adversity is temporary, that it is just one part of a much larger journey. This perspective gives you the strength to keep going, even when the road is tough. And it is this long-term perspective that disarms your enemies, because they are focused on the short term, hoping to see you stumble and fall. But your resilience allows you to rise above the immediate challenges and keep your eyes on the larger goal. Resilience is not just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward. Each time you overcome adversity, you don't just return to where you were before, you move forward, stronger and more capable than before. This kind of forward momentum is deeply frustrating to those who wish you harm, because it shows them that their attempts to stop you are not only failing, but actually making you stronger. The more they try to break you, the more resilient you become. And with each challenge you overcome, you gain more confidence in your ability to face whatever comes next. There's also an element of humility in resilience. It's about recognizing that you are not invincible, that you will face challenges and difficulties that test you, but it's also about knowing that these challenges are opportunities for growth. People who wish to see you fail often expect you to crumble under the pressure, to feel ashamed or defeated by your struggles. But when you approach adversity with humility and resilience, you show them that you are not afraid of hardship. You are not afraid to fall, because you know that each fall is an opportunity to rise even stronger. This humility, combined with resilience, disarms your enemies because it shows them that you are not easily shaken by failure. One of the most powerful aspects of resilience is that it's not just about you, it inspires others as well. When people see you overcome adversity with grace and determination, it gives them hope that they can do the same. Even those who once sought to undermine you may find themselves inspired by your resilience. They may continue to try and challenge you, but deep down, they will begin to respect your ability to rise above. This respect, whether they admit it or not, weakens their power over you. They can no longer see you as someone who is easily defeated. Instead, they see you as someone who will always rise, no matter how difficult the circumstances. Resilience also requires patience. There are times when adversity feels overwhelming, when progress seems slow or non-existent. Your enemies may count on this impatience, hoping that you will give up when the results don't come quickly enough. But when you cultivate Stoic resilience, you learn to trust the process. You understand that real growth takes time, and you are willing to endure the difficulties in order to achieve long-term success. This patience disarms those who wish to see you fail, because they are often driven by short-term thinking. They hope to see immediate results from their efforts to undermine you, but your resilience shows them that you are in it for the long haul. In the end, Stoic resilience is about more than just surviving adversity. It's about thriving because of it. It's about using every challenge as an opportunity to grow, to strengthen your character, and to become more grounded in who you are. This kind of resilience makes you unstoppable. Your enemies may continue to throw obstacles in your path, but they will quickly realize that nothing they do can truly defeat you. Every setback, every challenge, every adversity only makes you stronger, and that strength weakens the power of those who seek to bring you down. As you continue to rise through adversity, you will find that your resilience becomes a source of pride, not just for you, but for those who support you. The people around you will see your ability to overcome challenges with grace, and they will admire your strength. Even your enemies, in their own way, will be forced to acknowledge that they cannot break you. Your resilience will become your greatest weapon, not because it fights back against your enemies, but because it shows them that you are unbreakable. No matter what comes your way, you will continue to rise, and in doing so, you will weaken the power of those who wish to see you fail. As you rise through adversity, building resilience that defies your critics, another aspect of Stoic strength becomes crucial: confidence in silence. In a world where noise often dominates, where people seek validation through words and reactions, your quiet composure speaks volumes. There is power in silence, a power that can disarm those who wish to see you fail more effectively than any argument or defense. Stoic restraint, the ability to hold back when provoked or to remain calm in the face of chaos, is not a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it reveals an inner strength so profound that it doesn't need to prove itself through words. Silence is often misunderstood as passivity, but in reality, it is an active choice. Choosing to remain silent, especially when provoked, requires immense self-control and confidence. It shows that you are not swayed by the opinions, provocations, or criticisms of others. You are secure enough in who you are and what you believe in that you don't feel the need to explain yourself or engage in unnecessary conflict. This kind of restraint is deeply unsettling for those who thrive on chaos and confrontation. They expect you to react, to defend yourself, to argue. But when you meet their attempts to provoke with silence, it leaves them with nothing to grab onto. Your silence becomes a wall they cannot penetrate, and this frustrates them more than any verbal response ever could. Consider the times when someone has tried to provoke you, whether through insults, gossip, or unjust criticism. Their words were designed to elicit a response, to pull you into an argument that would validate their attack. But instead of reacting, you remained silent. Not because you didn't have anything to say, but because you understood that no response was necessary. In that moment, your silence communicated more than any words could have. It said, "I do not need to justify myself to you. Your words do not define me." This kind of quiet confidence is powerful because it shows that you are in control, not of the situation, but of yourself. And in controlling yourself, you control the situation. Silence can be a strategic tool. Those who wish to harm you often rely on your reactions to fuel their negativity. They want to see you flustered, defensive, or angry because it gives them power over you. But when you respond with silence, you deny them that power. You refuse to engage in the game they are trying to play. Your silence becomes a shield, protecting you from their attempts to manipulate or provoke. And as time passes, they begin to realize that they cannot affect you as they had hoped. Their words, once sharp and cutting, now fall flat because they are met with calm, quiet indifference. There is a famous Stoic principle that teaches us that we should not be overly concerned with what others think of us. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This insight speaks to the heart of why silence is so powerful. When you are confident in yourself, in your values, and in your actions, you no longer feel the need to explain or defend yourself. You no longer allow the opinions of others to dictate how you feel or how you respond. And this kind of self-assurance is best expressed through silence. In situations where others expect a reaction, whether it's in an argument, a confrontation, or even a moment of public criticism, your silence sends a clear message: you are not affected. This lack of reaction shows that you are not controlled by the external forces around you. People who thrive on conflict or negativity often find themselves confused when their provocations are met with silence. They don't know how to handle someone who refuses to engage in their drama. Your silence, far from being a sign of weakness, becomes a statement of strength. This kind of restraint is not about avoiding conflict out of fear or insecurity. It's about recognizing when conflict is unnecessary and choosing not to engage. There is a difference between silence born from fear and silence born from confidence. The former hides from confrontation, while the latter transcends it. When you are confident in silence, you are choosing to rise above the noise, to remain calm and composed, even in the face of provocation. This is what makes Stoic restraint so powerful. It's not about what you don't say, but about what your silence communicates. Silence can also be a form of self-respect. There are times when responding to an insult or a provocation would lower you to the level of the person attacking you. In those moments, remaining silent is an act of dignity. It shows that you respect yourself enough not to engage in petty arguments or to justify yourself to those who do not deserve your time or energy. People who try to bring you down often rely on emotional reactions to fuel their negativity. But when you meet their attacks with silence, you show them that your self-worth is not dependent on their approval or validation. You respect yourself enough to rise above their attempts to drag you into conflict. In the age of social media, where everyone feels the need to voice their opinions and react to every slight, silence has become even more powerful. We live in a world where people are constantly seeking validation through likes, comments, and reactions. But when you choose silence in a world full of noise, it sets you apart. It shows that you don't need the approval or validation of others to feel secure in who you are. Your confidence comes from within, and that is something that cannot be shaken by the opinions or judgments of others. I want you to imagine a scenario where someone publicly criticizes you, whether in person or online. They expect you to respond, to defend yourself, or to engage in an argument. But instead, you remain silent. You choose not to react, not because you have nothing to say, but because you understand that responding would only fuel the negativity. In that moment, your silence communicates strength. It shows that you are not controlled by the opinions of others, that you do not need to prove yourself. And over time, as the noise dies down, your silence will stand as a testament to your confidence and self-assurance. Silence is also a way to conserve your energy. Engaging in every argument or confrontation is exhausting. It drains your mental and emotional resources, leaving you feeling depleted. But when you practice Stoic restraint, when you choose silence over conflict, you protect your energy. You save it for the things that truly matter, for the battles that are worth fighting. This ability to conserve your energy is a form of wisdom, one that comes from understanding that not every conflict deserves your attention. Your silence becomes a way of prioritizing what is truly important in your life. There is also an element of mystery that comes with silence. When you refuse to react, you leave others guessing. They don't know what you're thinking, how you're feeling, or what your next move will be. This uncertainty can be deeply unsettling for those who seek to control or manipulate you. They thrive on knowing how you will respond, but your silence takes that power away from them. It keeps them off balance, unsure of how to proceed. And in this way, your silence becomes a powerful tool for maintaining control of the situation without ever saying a word. It's important to note that silence does not mean passivity. There are times when speaking up is necessary, when defending yourself or others is the right thing to do. But Stoic restraint is about choosing when to speak and when to remain silent. It's about understanding that not every situation requires a response, and that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. This kind of discernment requires self-awareness and emotional intelligence. It means being in tune with yourself and knowing when silence will serve you better than words. In relationships, whether personal or professional, silence can also be a way to create space for reflection and understanding. When emotions run high, it's easy to say things you don't mean or to react impulsively. But when you practice Stoic restraint, you give yourself the opportunity to step back, to assess the situation with clarity, and to respond, if necessary, from a place of calmness rather than emotion. This kind of silence creates space for growth, both for yourself and for the relationship. It shows that you are not ruled by your emotions, that you have the ability to pause, reflect, and choose your response wisely. Silence also allows others the opportunity to reveal themselves. When you remain silent, especially in moments of tension or conflict, you create space for the other person to show their true intentions. People who seek to manipulate or provoke you often rely on quick reactions to achieve their goals. But when you give them silence, they are forced to fill that space with their own words and actions. And in doing so, they often reveal more about themselves than they intended. Your silence, then, becomes a tool for gaining insight into the true nature of those around you. In the end, confidence in silence is about knowing that your worth is not tied to how much you say or how often you react. It's about understanding that sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. Stoic restraint is not about shutting down or avoiding confrontation out of fear. It's about choosing your battles wisely and recognizing that silence, when used with intention, can speak louder than words ever could. As you continue to cultivate this kind of confidence, you will find that those who once sought to provoke or undermine you will lose their power. Your silence will leave them with nothing to fight against, and in the quiet, you will find strength. As you master the art of silence, letting your restraint speak louder than words, there is an even deeper force that leaves those who oppose you bewildered: your unshakable integrity. In a world that constantly pushes people to compromise their values for short-term gains or external approval, staying true to your principles becomes a rare, powerful act of defiance. Integrity is not just a quiet strength, it's a visible, undeniable force. When you remain steadfast in your values, refusing to bend even under pressure, it confuses and frustrates those who expect you to waver. They cannot understand how someone could choose to remain honest, principled, and consistent when so many others take the easier, more tempting path. Integrity is the backbone of a life rooted in purpose. It's not just about being honest when it's convenient, but about holding on to your values when they are most tested. And this frustrates those who wish to see you fail because they rely on the idea that you will eventually crack, that you will compromise your principles to gain an advantage or to avoid discomfort. But when you stand firm, when you choose to live by your values no matter the cost, you disarm them completely. They see that you cannot be swayed, that you are not like others who may abandon their ethics in exchange for momentary gain. Your integrity becomes a source of strength that they cannot touch. I want you to think of someone trying to undermine you, hoping that with enough pressure or temptation, you will abandon your principles. Perhaps they offer you shortcuts, an opportunity to gain something quickly, if only you'd let go of your values just this once. They expect you to rationalize it, to justify bending your ethics because everyone does it. But when you choose to stay true to yourself, when you refuse to compromise, they are left with nothing. Their attempts to sway you have failed, and they are left questioning how someone could prioritize integrity over convenience. Your unwavering commitment to your values becomes a silent yet powerful statement. I cannot be bought. I cannot be manipulated. I will not waver. Integrity often means doing what is right, even when no one is watching. And in this lies the source of its power. People who oppose you often thrive on the assumption that everyone can be corrupted or compromised when pushed hard enough. They think that deep down, everyone has a price or a breaking point. But when you live with unshakable integrity, you prove that wrong. You show them that your values are not for sale, that your principles are not just for show, but a core part of who you are. This frustrates and confuses those who hope to see you compromise because they cannot control someone who values their inner truth more than external rewards. Living with integrity means that your actions align with your words. You don't just talk about doing the right thing, you live it. People who oppose you often rely on hypocrisy to undermine you, pointing out inconsistencies in your behavior or your words. But when you are truly committed to integrity, there is nothing for them to expose. Your life becomes a clear reflection of your values, and this leaves your opponents with little to criticize. Their attempts to find fault in you fall flat because your actions speak louder than any of their accusations ever could. The more consistently you live by your values, the more powerless they become to tarnish your character. There's something deeply unsettling for your opponents when they see that you cannot be easily shaken from your principles. In moments where others would choose the easier, more convenient path, you stand firm. When faced with choices that would lead to quick rewards at the cost of your values, you choose the longer, more difficult road. And in doing so, you show those who oppose you that they cannot break you. You have built a foundation on integrity that is unshakable, no matter how much they try to destabilize you. This strength in staying true to your values is more powerful than any external success, because it is a success that cannot be taken from you. Integrity also brings a sense of peace and inner clarity that those who compromise their values often lack. When you live a life rooted in your principles, you don't have to worry about the consequences of dishonesty, manipulation, or deceit. You sleep peacefully, knowing that you have stayed true to yourself, regardless of the outcome. This inner peace is something that those who oppose you cannot understand. They operate from a place of anxiety, constantly worried about being exposed or caught in their dishonesty. But when they see you walking through life with calmness and self-assurance, knowing that you have nothing to hide, it frustrates them. Your integrity protects you from the chaos that comes from living a life built on deception. Those who oppose you may try to paint you as naive or overly idealistic, accusing you of holding on to values that no longer have a place in the real world. They may mock you for refusing to take shortcuts or for sticking to your principles even when it seems impractical. But what they fail to understand is that integrity is not about convenience. It's about living in alignment with your core beliefs, regardless of how the world around you operates. Your integrity doesn't change based on external circumstances. It is a constant, something that defines you in every situation, and this consistency is what makes it so powerful. While others bend and shift based on what is most advantageous in the moment, you remain grounded in what is right, and over time, it becomes clear who is truly stronger. Integrity also protects you from the opinions of others. When you know that you are living in alignment with your values, you become less concerned with how others perceive you. People who oppose you often rely on social pressure, hoping to manipulate you into compromising your values for the sake of fitting in or being liked. But when you are committed to integrity, the opinions of others lose their hold on you. You no longer need their approval or validation because your sense of worth comes from within, from knowing that you are living a life that is true to yourself. This independence from external validation frustrates those who try to control or influence you because they realize that they cannot sway you with their opinions or judgments. Living with integrity also creates a sense of trust with those around you. People come to know that your word means something, that when you make a commitment, you will follow through. Your integrity becomes a beacon of reliability in a world where so many people compromise their values for the sake of convenience or gain. Even those who oppose you may find themselves grudgingly respecting you, knowing that you cannot be easily swayed or manipulated. This kind of trust is something that cannot be bought or faked. It is earned through consistent action, and it leaves your opponents with no choice but to acknowledge your strength. Over time, your integrity will become a source of power that even your fiercest critics cannot deny. They may continue to try and undermine you, hoping that at some point you will falter or compromise. But the longer you stand firm in your values, the clearer it becomes that their efforts are in vain. Integrity is a force that cannot be faked, and those who try to bring you down will find that their attacks only highlight the strength of your character. While they may succeed in bringing others down through manipulation or deceit, they will find that you are different. Your integrity shields you from their tactics, leaving them frustrated and powerless. It's important to recognize that living with integrity doesn't mean you won't face challenges. In fact, living a life rooted in values often means facing more resistance, especially from those who feel threatened by your unwavering commitment to what is right. But this is where the true power of integrity lies. It gives you the strength to face these challenges with grace and confidence. No matter how much pressure you face, no matter how tempting it may be to take the easier path, your integrity will guide you through. And the more you rely on this inner compass, the stronger you become. At its core, integrity is about being true to yourself. It's about living a life that is aligned with your deepest values, even when it's difficult or unpopular. People who oppose you may try to make you doubt yourself, to question whether your principles are worth holding on to in a world that often rewards dishonesty and compromise. But when you stay true to your values, you prove them wrong. You show them that there is strength in integrity, that living a life of honesty and consistency is not just possible, but deeply fulfilling. And as you continue to live this way, those who oppose you will find that their power over you diminishes. Your integrity becomes a shield that protects you from their attempts to control or manipulate you. In the end, unshakable integrity is not just about frustrating those who oppose you. It's about building a life that is true to who you are. It's about making choices that align with your values, regardless of what others think or how much pressure you face. And as you continue to live with integrity, you will find that the more you stay true to yourself, the less power your opponents have over you. They may try to bring you down, but they will quickly realize that they cannot break someone who is rooted in their values. Your integrity, unshakable and unwavering, will frustrate those who seek to undermine you, leaving them powerless in the face of your strength. As you hold firm to your unshakable integrity, grounded in values that define who you are, there's one more powerful tool in your arsenal, one that your enemies never expect: forgiveness. Letting go of grudges and practicing Stoic detachment is perhaps one of the most disarming acts you can perform. It doesn't just free you from the emotional burden of resentment, it takes away the power that your enemies think they hold over you. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, it is an act of strength. When you choose to forgive and release your attachment to anger, you rise above the conflict. Your ability to let go of past wrongs leaves your haters with no weapon to use against you. They may have hoped to keep you trapped in bitterness, but instead, you break free. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It's not about condoning the wrongs that were done to you, nor is it about allowing people to continue harming you. Rather, forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the heavy chains of resentment that can weigh down your spirit. Holding on to grudges keeps you emotionally tied to those who hurt you, allowing them to continue to influence your thoughts, feelings, and actions. But when you choose to forgive, you sever that connection. You release the emotional hold they have over you, and in doing so, you regain control of your inner peace. Picture someone who has wronged you deeply. Perhaps they betrayed your trust, spread lies about you, or acted with malice. Naturally, you feel hurt and angry, and your instinct may be to hold on to that anger, thinking that it will somehow protect you from further harm. But over time, you realize that the anger isn't protecting you at all. In fact, it's only weighing you down. Your thoughts are consumed by the wrongs that were done, and you find yourself replaying those moments over and over again. Meanwhile, the person who hurt you moves on, perhaps unaware or indifferent to the impact they had on your life. In this way, holding on to grudges only gives them more power over you. When you let go of the grudge, when you choose to forgive, something remarkable happens. You release yourself from the emotional burden, and in doing so, you disarm your haters. They can no longer control you through the hurt they inflicted. They may have expected you to carry that pain forever, to let it shape your actions and reactions. But by practicing forgiveness, you show them that you are not defined by the harm they caused. You have moved beyond it, and in doing so, you rob them of any lingering power they thought they had over you. Forgiveness, when combined with Stoic detachment, becomes even more powerful. The Stoics taught that we cannot control the actions of others, only our responses to those actions. Stoic detachment is not about becoming numb or indifferent to life's challenges. It's about recognizing that external events, including the wrongs done to you, are outside your control. What matters is how you choose to respond. When you practice Stoic detachment, you learn to let go of the emotional attachment to the harm done. You see the situation for what it is, an event that has passed, no longer relevant to your present moment unless you allow it to be. Your haters want you to stay attached to the pain they caused. They thrive on the idea that you will remain stuck in anger and resentment, replaying the wrongs they committed against you. But when you detach yourself emotionally from the situation, when you choose to forgive and move forward, it frustrates them. They expect you to react, to seek revenge, or to remain bitter. Instead, you choose peace. Your ability to let go of the emotional baggage shows them that they no longer have any control over your life. This kind of detachment doesn't mean you forget what happened, nor does it mean that you allow the same people to continue hurting you. It means that you no longer carry the emotional weight of the past. You learn from the experience, you set boundaries if needed, but you do not allow the pain to dictate your present or future. This mindset is deeply empowering because it frees you from the toxic cycle of blame and anger. You no longer need to replay old wounds or seek validation through revenge. You've risen above it all, and in doing so, you disempower those who tried to harm you. One of the most liberating aspects of letting go of grudges is the freedom it brings. Holding on to resentment keeps you tethered to the past, while forgiveness allows you to fully embrace the present. Those who wronged you may have hoped to keep you stuck in the emotional aftermath of their actions, but when you forgive, you move forward with clarity and peace. This forward momentum frustrates your haters because they realize that they can no longer control or influence your path. Your ability to let go of the past and focus on the present is a testament to your resilience, and it renders their efforts to keep you down futile. People often mistake forgiveness as something you give to the person who hurt you, but in reality, forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It's about releasing the emotional grip that past wrongs have on you so that you can live freely without the burden of anger weighing you down. When you forgive, you reclaim your power. You show that your peace and happiness are not dependent on what others have done to you, but on your ability to rise above it. This act of self-liberation is something that those who tried to harm you cannot understand. They expect you to remain angry, to seek retribution, but when you choose forgiveness, they are left powerless. Forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. There are times when the best thing you can do is forgive someone from a distance. You let go of the anger, but you also maintain healthy boundaries to protect yourself from further harm. Forgiving doesn't mean allowing people back into your life who have consistently hurt you. It means releasing the emotional hold they have over you. This distinction is important because it shows that forgiveness is not about erasing the past or pretending that wrongs didn't happen. It's about reclaiming your inner peace and refusing to let past harm control your future. The act of letting go is also a profound way to demonstrate self-respect. By choosing not to hold on to grudges, you show that you value your emotional well-being more than the satisfaction of holding on to anger. You recognize that carrying resentment only harms you, not the person who wronged you. In letting go, you prioritize your own peace and happiness over the need to win against your haters. This level of emotional maturity frustrates those who sought to hurt you because they realize that they cannot drag you down into their negativity. You've risen above, and in doing so, you've taken away the power they once held. Forgiveness is also an act of courage. It's easy to stay angry, to hold on to grudges, and to let bitterness fester. It feels safer to build walls of resentment around your heart, thinking that it will protect you from future harm. But true courage comes from letting go, from allowing yourself to heal and move forward. When you forgive, you open yourself up to the possibility of growth, of learning from the past, and of embracing new experiences without the shadow of old wounds holding you back. This kind of courage is what disempowers your enemies, because it shows them that they cannot keep you trapped in pain. In a world that often glorifies revenge and holding grudges, choosing forgiveness is a radical act. It goes against the expectation that you should seek retribution or stay angry as a way of protecting yourself. But the truth is, forgiveness offers a deeper form of protection. It shields your spirit from the corrosive effects of anger and bitterness. It allows you to remain light, unburdened by the emotional weight that grudges bring. And this lightness, this ability to move through life with grace and detachment, frustrates those who wanted to see you weighed down by the pain they caused. Letting go of grudges and practicing forgiveness doesn't mean you don't acknowledge the wrongs that were done to you. It means you choose not to let those wrongs define your life. You choose peace over anger, clarity over confusion, and freedom over emotional chains. This choice is what makes you powerful, and it's what disempowers your haters. They no longer have the ability to manipulate your emotions or control your reactions. You've moved beyond their reach, and in doing so, you've taken back your life. As you continue on your path of self-growth and resilience, you'll find that letting go of grudges becomes one of the most empowering things you can do. It's a declaration that you are no longer bound by the actions of others, that you are free to live your life without the weight of past wrongs holding you back. And as you embrace this freedom, those who sought to harm you will see that they no longer have any power over you. Your forgiveness, combined with Stoic detachment, becomes the ultimate act of strength, one that leaves your haters powerless and you at peace. As we've explored today, nothing frustrates your enemies more than mastering your own inner world. When you find peace within yourself, you disarm those who wish to harm you. When you refuse to react to insults and live with unwavering integrity, you create a fortress they cannot breach. Success through self-discipline, overcoming adversity with resilience, and embracing the quiet power of silence, all of these make you unstoppable. But perhaps the most powerful of all is your ability to let go of grudges, to forgive, and to rise above with Stoic detachment. Each of these practices not only strengthens you, but strips away the power your haters think they hold. Remember, your greatest weapon is your character, and by living in alignment with your values, you leave those who oppose you powerless. Their negativity, their efforts to undermine you, none of it can touch you when you control your own reactions, master your emotions, and stay true to your principles. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one thing you've done to stay true to yourself despite opposition? Share your experience in the comments below. I'm excited to read your thoughts and stories. And if you found value in this video, Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a lesson in mastering your mind and living life with purpose. You're stronger than you know, and your journey to inner strength starts right here.